Do we need to like go back and look up Aaron Gordon's role on the Magic here real quick? And just kind of remember who else was on that roster. Because, yeah, he was 17 points a game, you know, in 17-18. I guess he's 16 points a game in Denver there, so pretty close. Yeah, you know, pretty just a different type of shot that he's getting, you know, generating for himself a little bit in this 17-point a game, 16-point a game, back-to-back years here. You know, we did look at that playoff. I remember we looked at that playoff run number, and it was actually pretty decent, that one little 5-game series here. If we did the game-by-game breakdown, I don't know exactly how it would play out. But, again, you think the team that has him is expecting something from him, so there's like a certain level of maybe compensation that's involved. There's just like a certain level of the team is probably... There's just, you know, again, with the direction that the teams are going and the value that you can get these guys, a lot of times there is undervaluing that can happen as well too, maybe with them in a way where what was even that Gordon, let's go back to Gordon's trade. What was that Gordon? Did he give up like multiple first round picks for, again, a guy who was a number 4 overall pick in the draft? You hope that at least moved to 2. So traded with by Orlando with Gary Clark. Shout out to Gary Clark. Gary Clark Jr. chat to the Denver Nuggets, to RJ Hampton, Gary Harris in a 2025 pick and a trade exception. Top 5 protected, and it conveys with same protect. Oh, so what they would have gotten that either way in one of those years if it wouldn't have, you know, if they wouldn't have conveyed it already. I guess. Oh, is that this year, chat? I'm not even thinking. I'm just so used to just. It's just like a thing that you read. It didn't even sink in that this was this draft. So wait, is this the Aaron Gordon pick draft? Oh, look at that, chat. Literally the one year that this might be the most paid off because, again, Aaron Gordon's important to this team. It feels like even more important than before. Oh, Westbrook with the steal on J-Dub, forcing the turnover. The sneaky from the blind side, chat. Now he's posting up Caruso. Westbrook takeover. Aaron Gordon for 3. Oh, put it in, chat. Jokic off the floor. Denver, can they actually sustain a close / maybe even take the lead here? There's no Shea as well, too. So, are they trying to pace the minutes? Do we need to... Or is this just a, you know, throw J-Dub in the fire type moment and see what you get? Because he gets a little bucket there, chat. So that's nice. 3 for 3 tonight is what you love to see. So here we go. Here's a little prove-it J-Dub stretch. A little J-Dub versus Murray. Just in terms of sort of the guys on the court, because you got Case and Wallace actually matched up on Murray right now. J-Dub, Porter Jr. for 3. And the refs are being very, I'm going to say, generous to the Thunder with the foul calls on some of these three-point shots because they're not calling them. And the Thunder are definitely getting in their space a little bit. I'm not like, oh, we need to call these fouls, guys. I'm just pointing out that it's a thing that's happening. Just to rile up the, I guess, both fan bases. The Thunder fans are like, no, and the Nuggets fans are like, yeah, you're seeing it too. We're getting screwed here. But Westbrook. And again, as Billy Buckets gets closer to winning a title with Shea than we do with Wembanyama, we're going to probably start, we're going to root for balance, chat. So I think balance, unfortunately for Billy Buckets, he doesn't know this, but balance in the NBA is Wembanyama winning a title before Shea. It's just with the timeline. I can't control this stuff, chat. I'm not the one that sets the rules. I just have, you know, we're just Loki, like, sitting at the end. I guess we're not necessarily, but can anybody else just, like, look at all the time? It's like Loki had a friend that was just like, hey, Loki, what's going on in that timeline? And he's like, oh, yeah, that's the one where Wembanyama has to win a title before Shea. And we're like, oh, let's just slide us. Put us in that one, Loki, please. We want to be in the Wemby. Is there a timeline where Wembanyama wins 10 titles? And it's just, or is there one where he wins 20? Like, what's the best Wembanyama timeline, please? Put us in that one. And they're like, oh, yeah, the best Wembanyama timeline is he is on the Vegas Mavericks. You're like, wait, what happened? They traded Luka for Wembanyama after the... Wait, what happened? So, you know, the timeline... I guess the timeline doesn't guarantee him in San Antonio, chat, but it would have to be. The best timeline for Wemby is not in San Antonio? You're wrong, chat. You're wrong. It's literally perfect. It all lined up for it to happen anyways. But there we go. Okay, Wembanyama corner for the night. Porter Jr., Nuggets with the lead without Jokic. So Chet and J-Dub both in the game, we should point out as well, too. So you got the 1-2 combination with Shea. I mean, you got Porter and Murray. I know Porter's not necessarily holding the same standing that he might have once had, but again, he can still tap into that bag, I think, chat. So I guess they just showed a replay of the 3 that we mentioned, and I guess the Nuggets, there is a little definitely kick out as well too from Porter. I mean, Porter's got a little, he definitely's got a little bend in his jump shot as well, but I guess they're just kind of letting it play if there's going to be some movement with the jump shooter, with the base as well too, getting into the defender space. So it's playoff basketball, chat. Just let them battle it out in the air, I guess. If you just make tough jumpers, you make tough jumpers. But the Nuggets actually have. So maybe that actually benefits the Nuggets a little bit. Like, you want to semi-foul them. Like, the Nuggets are, I think, a team that kind of wants to hit a jump shot going to the floor and then complain afterwards. Like, Porter, is that an offensive foul? Yeah. Like, Luka definitely wants to, Luka wants to do that. I think LeBron, so the Lakers are close, chat. The Lakers are close. But, and Shea wants to get to the foul line, but I think he wants to get to the foul line at any point. So he's definitely trying to draw fouls on these little pull-up jumpers in kind of a Harden-esque way as well, too. I think maybe even Harden, and I don't know, chat, this is starting to get into sketchy territory here, but I don't even know if Harden quite had the pull-up jumper foul stuff that Shea had. Like, it feels like when Harden did get the foul, and Shea definitely gets these as well, too, but a lot of those Harden mid-range fouls as well, too, whereas he would go to the defender on his hip mode, and he would try to get the defender in the, behind him and get for the floaters to stop the momentum and those type. And then, he's just, especially in that Morey system, again, Harden would cook in the mid-range with the step-back stuff all the time, but it was a lot of, of course, 3, and then the drives, swooping in, going to the basket where he's, really hooking the offensive player's arms and really just controlling the basketball on his drives, but through the contact, obviously, of the defenders. So, but it just does seem like Shea has a little, like, herky-jerky thing in the mid-range, obviously, that gets him some of these foul looks that even even Luka as well, like, just some of the other foul-heavy guys, again, it's a lot of just their ability to generate contact. I guess maybe Brunson would be the other, speaking of drawing fouls, of course, revolutionary conclusion. The 2 guys that got, baked a little bit in the season for the foul hunting type stuff would be the ones that we would think of for this conversation. But again, I think it's more so, and that was part of the conversation, was their ability versus the baiting, quote unquote, that they do. But I guess it's, for us, we were considering it just a credit. But it's just, more of an aspect, it's just an aspect of the game that he has, and it makes Shea a unique player. And as much as people find it annoying, chat, like, and I'm not saying that Shea is headed for this fate in terms of his career, but again, you do see the foul-reliant players aren't, you don't think about that in NBA history. You don't think about this guy won the finals by dragging his team based on the free throw line. Like, again, you think great players can get to the free throw line when they need to, absolutely, and there's iconic moments, but more often than not, you didn't. I guess, we mentioned it earlier, Chad, outside of the one very controversial one, and I think, was Donaghy even reffing that finals? So I guess that finals, for as great as Wade was, maybe it's not one that the league necessarily even wants to totally rehash. I think we can look up the refs for some of those games here, Chad. Rem and Sam untold as we rehash the Tim Donaghy scandal, chat. What happened? Did we get the right one? 0506, chat. Let's go. Second team All-NBA that year, 6th in MVP voting. I don't know if Donaghy would have been on the call for on the whistle, chat, for every game. Do they just have like a refs page here? Oh, they don't. We're going to have to go to each game. They definitely have them on game 1, chat. Well, I guess we could probably just look for these last couple of games when the free throw stuff got really bad because, again, the Mavs did take the 2-0 series lead. Heat tied up 2-2. And then, wait a second. We're just looking at the home team situation here. So, yeah, you've got the Mavs still do win the first 2. The Heat win game 3, of course, because the Mavs don't go up 3-0. But and they don't go up. I guess they did win 2-2 because they didn't go up 3-1 as well too. Because again, of course the LeBron team was the first team ever to make the 3-1 comeback in the finals. But the 2-0. So yeah, 4 straight then. I guess for some reason it would have to be 4 straight. Down 2-0. If you were to win it and not make the 3-1 comeback. Like again, the Celtics could. They don't have to win 4 straight to win this series. Mathematically, they could win, of course, 4 of the next 5. Those are the only 2 options that they have, Chad. But like this game 5, maybe Wade with 43 points. Was Donaghy on the call? Or again, Chad, I guess. Crawford. Oh, Joe DeRosa. Maybe that's why, Chad. I don't know if Joe DeRosa's a ref or a comedian or who that is, but he's got to be on for one of these games. Dan Crawford, Steve Jaddy, Eddie F. Rush as well. Okay, so Donaghy not on the call for either of those games. Or was he maybe one of those like Lakers series or the finals one of those playoff series leading into one of those Shaq Kobe Lakers things, like maybe on the Western side, or he was in like that Bucks Sixers type series where that one's a little sketchy as well too. Maybe the league kind of was like, hey, has Iverson earned himself a finals appearance? Speaking of scripted moments in potential NBA history, chat. Again, just to, I guess, not to just take away from Iverson there, chat. Shout out Iverson, obviously one of the great. It's two-sided, chat. One of the great conspiracies, one of the great accomplishments. Either way, that again, sometimes that's great accomplishments. They just have to be explained, chat. The moon landing, obviously, it can't be real. It's too good to have happened. But as time goes, chat, is becoming an adult, realizing the moon landing was fake. Who knows? But yeah, either way, I guess we'll do more research on the Donaghy career a little bit later. And that's gonna forget. Oh, the free throw stuff. We were looking through the draft. I guess we were gonna find the next Aaron Gordon, chat. Nuggets down 4, chat. Just under 6 minutes left here in the second quarter. So here we go. Home court. Maybe it does matter for the Nuggets. Altitude. The young team affected by the potential location. I don't know what the elevation is for OKC. That might be a kind of a flat place, Chad. I'm not. Maybe I guess flat could be true. It could be deserty type stuff. I guess just stereotyping Oklahoma here. But I'm thinking also like very sea level E. I don't know if it's like 16 feet off the sea level and just very, very flat. I'm not exactly sure how the topography of all that stuff works out. And either way, chat. Looking for the next Aaron Gordon. So yeah, again, long wait. We'll get there, chat. We'll get there. 23 draft. Sophomore guys just starting to take shape. But Amen Thompson, obviously a guy that is maybe turning the corner the other way and actually becoming the franchise guy. Asar Thompson seeming like, headed for potentially Aaron Gordon level impact. I think he is maybe even on pace to look like a more interesting prospect than Aaron Gordon as well too. But again, if he's like the second or third guy on a title team, then that's ultimately, at the end of the day, you can ask for, regardless of what style or how he's able to accomplish that. Anthony Black in Orlando, Coulibaly, Jarris Walker, the other 3 guys in that 4 to 8 range. So I think, and the other piece of it as well too, again, becomes does this team sort of expect a little bit too much from this guy in this spot where Anthony Black is walking into a situation where, you've already got Paolo, you've already got Franz, and you've already got Jalen Suggs is emerging as the basic, third, second, maybe even most impactful guy, outside of Paolo on that team. If Wendell Carter is playing well and, is Black the 4th to 5th to 6th guy on the team. And again, it's like a good version of him as well too. I'm saying, the 4th best version of him. It could be ideal with those 3 guys. And now your lineup is actually really, really amazing because, again, Anthony Black is your 4th best player. But you're not necessarily, you're bringing him again, to be what Aaron Gordon is now. You're not bringing him in to be, is this the potential? Because that's Amen Thompson at 4. Again, 4 is kind of starting to teeter in that spot where, okay, we're getting a swing on, and that was the thing with the Thompson brothers. Like if they don't work out as a primary ball handler, what's their spot as non-shooters in the league? And I think, and obviously they are such special athletes, but with if there's ever a rule of thumb in the draft now, Chad, after watching the Thompson twins, if there's ever generational athletes in the draft, just take them. Just take them. You just draft them. Giannis, the Thompson twins, you just draft them. And I think maybe the Justice Winslow, Stanley Johnson, not to just name names, but some of those type of 4 to 8 pick type guys that didn't work out that you would classify as the athletic but kind of need refining type players. Maybe they didn't actually have the same type of athleticism, and again, I have to actually go back and study that stuff. But just the special, freakish nature of some of these guys, chat, is like, okay, guess what? We're going to bet on that because you see Asar on the other end, and Asar has the ability to be much more than what I'm about to say, and I absolutely believe it as well, too. But Asar, you see right now him as just a defender. And again, and maybe I shouldn't even say that as well, too. You see his ability as just a defender. He's still, again, right now able to contribute more in the game than just the defense. But if his defensive ability was, we'll get it on the third try, chat. If his defensive ability was the only factor in his game that you could see going forward, it's his athleticism, he's such a high-level defender potentially that he is a valuable asset to the team, regardless of, again, how the rest of his game develops out. But point being, both those guys all of these guys, at least the 4, 5, and 6, feel like they're going into favorable spots right now for their potential developmental games. Koulibaly on the Wizards is already kind of being, I think, well, no, I shouldn't say that. We still like Koulibaly. Jarris Walker is a little bit one, because again, these guys got traded for each other, is a little bit of a one that's kind of like, he just hasn't quite seen it as many minutes. But the Pacers, again, they're maybe a better team than we thought. As the rotations continue to get a little bit more strict down the stretch runs, and as they need to rely on some more veteran play maybe to advance in the playoffs, maybe it's just not quite time for him to find a spot in the lineup. So maybe he's kind of a hey, yo, chat, I don't want to start naming, throwing out new phrases, but is he the reverse Aaron Gordon? That sounds like something you don't want to look up in the Urban Dictionary, but where, again, it's not a demotion for Aaron Gordon. I'm not trying to say that, but I just, as a quick way to try to say a phrase and keep it moving. Like, you're bringing in a guy that, and again, maybe just the overall field goal attempts in it, balance it back out for Aaron Gordon. Again, you see in the scoring numbers, but you're like, okay, do you expect him to get lesser looks with this more stacked team in Denver? Like, maybe Jarris Walker, you're like, okay, can we buy low on Jarris Walker and bring him in and upgrade his role? Obviously could be the looks. So he is definitely a guy, if we're just starting from the 23 class, that could be in that next Aaron Gordon type mix. In 22, you've got Keegan Murray, Jaden Ivey, Benedict Mathurin on the Pacers, Shaedon Sharpe from Portland, and Dyson Daniels from New Orleans, chat, who we kind of already are seeing in this role. Like, he got traded, of course, to Atlanta in the Murray piece. And speaking of guys defensively, of course, I mean, one of the impact guys, right, when he got to Atlanta, fit ideally with what they're trying to build with that roster. But again, it's kind of already become what Aaron Gordon is. The Hawks just don't have Jokic at this point, or unfortunately the Jokic level player, until Jalen Johnson, I guess, develops into that, or Reisher Shea, I guess. But where were we at, chat? Oh yeah, Dyson Daniels was already moved around and kind of undervalued for this type of conversation. So that is actually kind of a perfect example. And again, it's earlier in his career for him than it was with Aaron Gordon, but he was, and maybe they just overpaid as well too. That is always a possibility. But he was essentially just a part of a larger deal and has now developed into the most potential, best part of that deal as well. Sharpe in Portland, I think Portland still looks at their team and goes, Sharpe can be a leader on this team. I think there's definitely a bunch of other young pieces as well, too, in different type. Like, Klingon can be a centerpiece of this team. Can he be obviously, like, the guy that you're going to run your offense through? Probably not, but can definitely be a centerpiece type team building center, I guess, a literal centerpiece for that franchise. But What was I about to look up here, chat? I'm just rambling and not paying attention to what I was about to look up. We were talking about shape. Oh, I was just going to look up the Blazers roster here and see what the rest of it looks like. Again, Scoot as well, too. Advia, I guess Advia, you know, it's an interesting sort of have a bunch of guys, but who's going to develop, if any, into the main lead star? Who's going to seize the day, chat? Seize their opportunity. I mean, Simons as well, too. We should have mentioned him, but they still don't have a guy that is emerged or sort of taken the reins as the leader of the team in a big way. So, and maybe Sharp just, I mean, already you see him second in the team in scoring behind Simons, and a couple more just games played in general. A little bit better of a field goal percentage number. So you see just him. I think his ability attacking the rim is already, you see just how high level athletic that he could be, that the respect of that, I think, on the team is already amongst the highest of any of the things that the guys can do in the lineup at this point. So I think, if that statement made sense, Chad, I think Portland is still kind of keeping faith in Shaedon Sharpe to develop and take steps forward. But, you know, he's obviously a guy on our watch list. For Aaron Gordon watch list, not even, chat. I'm paying high. I'm buying high on Shaedon Sharpe, and I am bringing him into this team to have a great role. Like, you know, we're giving up all the first-round picks, and we're making it worth it because he's taking shots. It's going to be Shaedon Sharpe's team. It's like Wemby, I know that we drafted you and you're this generational prospect, but Shaedon Sharpe's going to take 20 shots a game, and we just need you to continue to play defense. Sorry, Wemby, you're going to have to rebound now, unfortunately. But Shaedon Sharpe is, and, you know, Mathurin, that's working out. Ivy, I think that Detroit is going to be interested to see how that affects them in the playoffs next year, if they're able to continue to get back. And, you know, with whatever their team looks like, I mean, just in general next year, I think they're going to be interesting to see how that Cade and just that Cade and him combination, I guess, play out. So Ivy is definitely on a watch list of, like, hey, yo, chat, like, for just what happens, what if, just something. But I think they also could go really, really well together. Again, Aaron Gordon didn't have that superstar that's like, is Aaron Gordon going to pair up nicely with this young player and young teammate? Like, Cade is the guy that can be the best player in the face of the franchise and carry the playoff series. How can Ivy complement him and add to the rest of the team that's doing it, and then star in his own right, of course, in the moments that they need him to for various reasons? But Detroit's going to want to see for a little bit what they've got with Ivy as well, too. You've got Barnes, Suggs, Giddey, Kuminga, and Franz Wagner, chat, in 2021. And, of course, just this entire draft is one of the really great drafts. I mean, you know, really great, I guess. But just in terms of recently, one of the really fun drafts that I should say that we've had. And Jalen Green is actually leading this class in scoring, which I guess I didn't realize. But shout out, very impressive. I mean, there's definitely a games played thing here with him and some of the top guys. So if we did points per, yeah, Cade is the number one in points per game. But Jalen Green's got him in the win shares, chat, per 48. Cade, though, oh, chat, shout out Cade. Oh, wait a second. Where's our lead guy? Oh, no, yeah, Cade is number one. And Svengoon, a little higher. Trey Murphy as well, too. Vorp, chat, Svengoon, Mobley, Barnes, Giddey. But, yeah, and again, like, this draft is the perfect example. Like, you know, it's not just these guys that obviously ascend. You know, Svengoon at 16, Trey Murphy at 17, Jalen Johnson at 20 might be him and Cade, you know, might be our two favorite players in the draft, and it's the number one and the number 20 pick. And Cam Johnson, obviously, as well, too. Bones Highland, I mean, you know, this draft is stacked, chat. Wieskamp, the Iowa guy, and Livers, back-to-back picks. Herb Jones in the second round. I mean, so many lovable places. Luka Garza, Charles Bassey. We still have some. Aaron Wiggins, just 55, hanging out. Probably the best player in the second round. Easily the best player in the second round, chat. You know, lottery pick probably. Where's he at in points for this class? You know, he's just started to kind of be a more consistent player, of course, this year. Oh, wait, there he is. 16th? So, yeah, chat, just borderlining on lottery pick just in terms of points scored. And maybe he's another, we need to do the points per game mix. What is he at? 8.6? Oh, maybe not, chat. Maybe not. Yeah, 21st in points per game. Kispert's got him by a little bit. Josh Giddey as well. Like, Giddey's a guy that's in this conversation, but Giddey again, another kind of sort of reverse Aaron Gordon situation where it's almost like Aaron Gordon being traded from the Nuggets now, where Giddey is a guy that was a bad fit for the Thunder, and Aaron Gordon's a guy that's a good fit for the Nuggets. But Giddey, role player, sort of being traded upwards to the Bulls. Let's take a swing. Maybe Giddey still is a guy that will be a piece to the team, or maybe he's a guy that can carry much more of the offense than, not that we thought, but maybe that he continued to prove that he can actually handle that much responsibility for running these teams. So again, he's a guy that's already been traded. Make no mistake, Kuminga's already been traded. He's just still on the Warriors at this point, but the trade machine is, I think, an open tab on Steve Kerr's computer at this point every night. He played Kevin Knox in the playoff game against the Wolves. It made me forget who they were playing against in that game. Just the idea. Once Kevin Knox checks into a playoff game, I think the ratings like get cut. Ayo chat. But it's just like, oh man, is that the sign of for what game we are getting right here? And like we said, for these guys, Suggs as well too as the 5th pick in this draft is a guy that is becoming more and more important to this Orlando team. But Scottie Barnes is honestly the perfect definition of this type of player. And once again, another 4th overall pick. So maybe it's just the Aaron Gordon. We call that pick the Aaron Gordon, the number 4 pick, if it's this type of career. But you think about him in Toronto. He goes to Toronto, and he, of course, wins Rookie of the Year. He is expected to bring along the offense in that type of way as a quote-unquote star player, and it just hasn't quite happened in the all-round game the way that maybe we thought it would. But if he was traded, I mean, again, just to use the Spurs as an example, not to say that we would use our pieces before Giannis potentially on Scottie Barnes just to get a star, but, say what you want about Scottie Barnes as a star. I'll defend it, Chad. I'll defend it. Star in Canada anyways. Face of the league, Scottie Barnes is. Shea winding down, 10 seconds left, end of the shot clock. J-Dub swings it to Isaiah Joe. No, it's going to be J-Dub for 3 over Westbrook. Off the back of the rim, chat. Denver down 5, 51-56 at halftime. But again, say you trade him to a team like San Antonio. We have Scottie Barnes, Steph Castle, Giannis, and Victor Wembanyama. Somehow we still have Castle and all these guys still in the... And we still have some random Hawks pick as well, too. Who knows, Chad? We just somehow keep that. Or just somehow just subconsciously just keep getting it in the future. But you trade him to a team like that where he could take a little bit of a step back, have a little bit more ability to focus on the things he does well. Maybe he play makes a little bit more and some of the defensive stuff. But him in a different role could be like a real Aaron Gordon type role player. And he could be another guy as well, too, that could kind of figure out the three-point shooting a little bit. Obviously his number's a little bit lower for his career, but put him in a different system where he's getting some of the threes off the ball, and maybe that helps, kind of like Gordon. And Gordon can definitely, get a little bit of a three-pointer off the dribble at this point. But that is right now a podium candidate for Aaron Gordon. And I'm not trying to be Scottie Barnes, do we need to demote him down to number 2 player on the team? I'm just saying that if teams need to start making moves and, who pops available, what are the outcomes for the guys that we bring in? I think there's a definite Aaron Gordon level impact for a guy like Scottie Barnes if you're thinking along those lines. And like we said with Aaron Gordon, I don't know if that becomes the price tag at some point, because I had to look back. I don't know if he was on the same equivalent contract that Scottie Barnes is on right now. He is on a little bit of a deal at this point. It'll be in the 40s, I think, at some point there. But even a guy like Scottie Barnes in the 40s with his upside is not a bad move at all, I think. It's not disastrous from a contract standpoint, maybe the way that some of these other numbers can really get to looking, and with guys on the other side of their careers, and maybe they're going to have reliability issues the other way, chat. But just Barnes is perfect for this type of experiment, like we're saying. High-value guy, is expected to lead the offense, bring him in around a star, and just watch him really, really thrive in that sort of spot. But 2020, and again, I don't know how far we need to go back, because I guess it could be in theory, a guy at any point in his career. But it's a little bit of a guy that's like Aaron Gordon right now is not an old player, Chad. It's not like he's at the end of his run. He might be in his 30s now, like, 30. But he's not 36. He is... Yeah, he's 29 right now. He'll be 30 in September. So he'll be 30 by the time we get to next season. So he got to Denver. When did he get to Denver? He got to Denver when he was 25. Luka. They traded him at the Luka age, Chad. You got to get these superstars when they're 25. When Scottie Barnes turned 25? Let's go back and find this out, Chad. What are we, Leo DiCaprio? Let's see here, Chad. Scottie Barnes will turn 25, 23 in 281 days. So 25 in August 1st of 2026. So he has one more year left to play in the sub. One more year left in Toronto, and then he gets traded after that at 25? Chad, it's kind of lining up. It's kind of lining up. But, yeah, feels like a prime candidate, I guess. And we were looking at the next year here with, again, Edwards, LaMelo. Like, LaMelo, is he going to be an Aaron Gordon candidate of that type of guy? Maybe you see him next to another star at some point in his career. But, again, feels more like a... And I'm careful what I'm saying here, chat.